Verlicify always right. Every other PokeTuber is a bad actor. They all lie, cheat, and steal to manipulate children for money. That is the entirety of the Pokemon community at this point, further proven by me being the only person to call this out and show what is going on. Pokemon Challenges has admitted to cheating Nuzlockes. I'm not surprised at all because virtually every Pokemon Challenge video is blatantly rigged. And that's just a trend for all Pokemon content. Shiny Hunters are fake. Of course every randomizer and extreme Nuzlocke is fake because all these bad actors have like one-upped themselves so much they have to rig the content in their favor or else they're not going to get as many views. And this is a very similar thing between like Poketips and Pokemon Challenges to where, oh, it looks like their content's legit, and then once they get popular, they're just like, nah, we've been faking it. Poketips being extra shitty by lying his way out of being caught rigging his randomizer, and then changing the title years later saying, yes, it was fake. And now Pokemon Challenges are fake. Wow, who would have guessed that with all the hacking and hack support in the Pokemon community, from all these bad actors, there is no organic or meaningful content. And Pokemon Challenges even says it's almost everyone in the Nuzlocke community, including himself. But then, it just gets even worse because Pokemon Challenges hosted a tournament for players that got disqualified for cheating at Worlds. And that's like the more insane thing. That now the cheating has been fully exposed and we saw players get disqualified at Pokemon Worlds because it was held in Japan, where that is unacceptable, and the Pokemon Company International corruption has been exposed. And now they have to just like keep deflecting about accessibility issues, even though no matter how you spin it, Pokemon is one of the most accessible forms of competition between all sports and esports. Now they're just like saying like, yeah, it's cheating. So Pokemon Challenges admitting that breaking the rules to gen Pokemon, that genning Pokemon is cheating. They were disqualified for cheating. This is the admittance. But now it's deflected and it's all okay now because they get a second chance to compete. When I say it's cheating, people boycott me and just like go on the most massive cancel campaigns possible. Wait, I've already exposed a dozen times that the Pokemon community is almost all hypocrites. So I've always known Pokemon Challenges as a bad dude, but after like all these cheating scandals and after like so much bad actor behavior in the Pokemon community, the goalpost can't be moved back anymore. So now they just have to come out and admit it, but use their influence in the Pokemon community to make cheating and hacking okay, and lying and deception okay. But we've also seen that in the Pokemon League community, with every Pokemon League video being fake as well. Yeah, that's Pokemon now, and it just keeps getting worse. Great. The response is equally disgusting. I can't fathom how worthless you have to be to agree with grinding being cringe and cheating being based. Being based is actually about having values and morals and doing the work and not putting up with nonsense. Cheating is the opposite of that. Also, I don't know how people can get mad at me when I say it, but comments like this keep proving the fact that millennials and Zoomers are the worst generation. It is the entitlement generation. It is the bratty generation that doesn't want to work for anything. All these losers have banded together to warp culture for their entitlement, and that's destroying everything. And here we see it on display everywhere. These children are permanently, emotionally, and developmentally stunted because of all their engagement online and their refusal to do the bare minimum work to succeed in life. And then they just cry about it instead of actually being good people. So yeah, so we have, I totally appreciate the rare candy cheat. These people appreciate the cheating, even though it makes the entire challenge worthless. And we can talk about how that breaks down. Also, we have another comment below that. Possibly the best thing to ever originate from the Nuzlocking community. The Nuzlocking community was about grinding, was about the difficulty. Cheating removes all of that, so what's the point? So even like the most quote-unquote hardcore, even though I've always considered Nuzlocking stupid, and this just further confirms it's always been stupid, always been a waste of time. Just like the shiny hunting community. That was like, well, I mean, there's already so much hacking, so any amount of time you spend shiny hunting is already wasted, and then you complain about not being able to get competitive Pokemon. So it's just more like hypocrisy and stupidity. And then we have A-Drive, the most prolific shiny hunter hacking Pokemon for leagues. So A-Drive is a cheater both for competitive as well as just having general hacked randomizer and Nuzlocke and extreme content. So anyone that's like a part of Team Shiny, all of their work has been devalued by their influencer because he just cheats anyways. And it's not just A-Drive, it's every shiny hunting influencer. And now like every community is also just getting tainted. Grinding sucks. That's the point. There's also like a mental fortitude and willpower aspect to Nuzlocking. I'm glad it's become more widely accepted to just use rare candies as long as you don't overlevel. Again, no challenge, completely worthless. Some Pokemon challenges short, they talk about hacking in thousands of rare candies because they've made the Nuzlocks and challenges too difficult. That's the point of a challenge. And also it kind of goes back to the whole randomizer thing, that all these bad actors have been one-upping themselves and jumping the shark with every new extreme ROM hack that they've actually made content that isn't possible, but then they have to cheat their way through it. However, they don't represent that in the title or thumbnail or any of how the content is hosted. You know, it's a Pokemon challenge, so it's just all clickbait and bad faith. But because millennials and zoomers, the online generations, are so entitled and worthless, they cheer on this behavior, where it's like, what's the point of making a harder mod if you have to cheat to complete it? How can it be called a Nuzlocke? How can it be called a challenge when you're just hacking the game to beat it? That's called a cheat. Yeah, that's why they say, like, this is cheating. So why would anyone find any value in something you have to cheat to beat, or from someone who cheats things to beat them? That's Pokemon. That's just how insane it's gotten. They talked about how to get adequately leveled, you need to spend hours and hours of grinding against wild Pokemon, and that sucks. Again, that's the point of a Nuzlocke. The Nuzlocke is supposed to be a long, difficult grind, and if you add more restrictions onto it, that's the point of the Nuzlocke, to add the difficulty to it. You can't just cut back on that difficulty with cheating the game and hacking the game even more. We started hacking in candies, skipping the tedious grinding. At that point, you have no challenge. You have no accomplishment. That's also why it's disgusting when it's like, pro Nuzlocker reacts to blank, or pro Nuzlocker does blank, or this is the hardest Nuzlocke, when it's like, but you're not pro if you have to cheat, and you're also not skilled or presenting any challenge if you have to cheat your way through it, or rig the content around it, which is how you can tell, like, oh, wait a second, if they're just hacking in rare candies, or they're changing the rules at a whim, then of course it's all rigged. There's no challenge, there's no difficulty. Nuzlocke's always been fraudulent. Awesome. And then I get more pissed off at these brats because the argument for cheating in Pokemon is that no one has the time to get Pokemon legitimately, even though that's complete crap. And that's also how all forms of competition work. You need to sacrifice thousands of hours. You need to dedicate the work, time, and money if you want to be elite at any discipline, at any form of competition. Pokemon is no different. Like I said, they keep moving the goalposts. That we've had more accessibility inside of Pokemon in Generation 9 and 8 than ever. Now it's still too hard. It's still too impossible. And it's all just lies. But they'll waste dozens and hundreds of hours on a worthless casual ROM hack, or a fake Nuzlocke, or hatching several thousand eggs instead of actually getting a complete shiny team. No, it just kind of shows, like, yeah, this is all about the entitlement. This is all about not wanting to do any work ever for anything inside of Pokemon and cheating your way out of it. And I've been calling out influencers for making this the culture of the Pokemon community for a decade. And that's also why I keep on saying there are no other good Pokemon content creators, because they all support this. They cheat themselves, they hack themselves, they lie, they deceive, they manipulate because they only care about the money. They have absolutely no care for Pokemon whatsoever, and they have no honesty or good faith in them. So there we go, guys. I make videos like this to keep everyone informed and to show that I've always been right about this, and I will continue to do the right thing. I will continue to be the only good force in Pokemon because I actually care about it when no other Poketuber does. As the only good and honest Poketuber in the Pokemon community, it's my responsibility to make sure history is not forgotten. When it comes to the competitive side of Pokemon, they've already changed the definition of a legal Pokemon to including a hacked Pokemon that is cheated. False Swipe Gaming just makes up shit about a Pokemon's history using Smogon, and now Pokemon Challenges is changing the definition of what a Nuzlocke is because he has no skill. Modern Nuzlocke challenges have become too hard, so he has to cheat in rare candies to beat them, and then manipulate his audience of mostly children into thinking cheating is okay. Which we've also seen with WolfGlick and the VGC community trying to gaslight everyone into thinking lying, cheating, and stealing is okay. And I'm the only person in the community speaking out against all this evil shit, so when I say I'm the only good and honest PokeTuber, there's really no one else to point to. Now, I've gotten hundreds of comments because of this video, a lot of it just like the same NPC talking points, so let's see what they're saying. I do understand what you say on the video about Nuzlocking being a challenge. I really hate social media making everyone dishonest and rotting their brains. No, if that's how you begin a sentence, you do not understand what someone is trying to say, you're just trying to deflect before you go and challenge them. It's a self-imposed challenge, and a person only wanting to have fun is what a Nuzlocke is. And that is like the main NPC point I've seen, where it's like, you can't say anything about rare candies being cheating because it's a self-imposed challenge. And then naturally, more deflection from someone doing something wrong. Why should person X care about what person Y is doing with their own challenge? Anyone has its own way to have fun. Grammar. If I like using tools to make the game more bearable or just going full pain and suffering, it's my choice. Well, this is why we have definitions for things. Because if you're not suffering, you're not playing a Nuzlocke. And unfortunately, I wasn't aware of this post or the Nuzlocke motto before I made my video on Pokemon challenges, but now we can just kind of catch up with the fallout. So, this is an 11-year-old post on Reddit. It doesn't get more "this is what a Nuzlocke is supposed to be" than a post that's over a decade old. So, advice for a failed Nuzlocker. I've failed maybe 5 Nuzlocke so far, ending at the 1st to 3rd gems. I need some advice to do better, please. Alright, let's see what the advice is. Grind like hell. The Nuzlocke motto: never give up, never forget, grind like hell. Never give up, no matter how many times you fail. Go on in the memory of those who fall. Grind everyone to at least one level above the highest level of the gem. Now here's where we can see I'm completely correct in calling Pokemon challenges a fraud, because he's changed it to give up, forget, and use rare candies. And right below that, grind harder. The solution to any Nuzlocke is grind. There is no room, there is no tolerance for cheating in rare candies to reduce the grind. And that's again where these bad actors and the NPC audience comes in and says, well, the only rules are you catch the first one and you release it if it faints. Yes, these rules are made to increase the difficulty of the Nuzlocke, which implies anything that reduces that difficulty to not be a valid Nuzlocke, such as cheating in rare candies. And that's where the idiots say, using rare candies doesn't make it any easier, it just saves time. Yes, the same argument we see in competitive Pokemon. It's not cheating, it just saves time, even though time is an objective competitive advantage. With this, time adds to difficulty of anything. If it takes longer to get back to the boss, that means you have few attempts at learning and beating the boss, which means there's going to be more people that quit because it's too difficult to get to the point of beating the boss. If there's a long Kaizo level in Mario, you don't get to make a save state just because you've made it to that final jump 100 times. You have to do all the difficult things up until that point to then make it to the final jump. And the thing about a Pokemon Nuzlocke is you have the autonomy to get to that point sooner with higher risk. So the risk-reward further proves the challenge and difficulty being removed by using rare candies. Like, yeah, you can just, like, go to the first route or an earlier route where there's zero risk of having a Pokemon faint, but then it's going to take longer, which means, oh, you just wasted 3 extra hours of farming the easy stuff to still get smacked by one of the gym leaders and then lose and completely reset. And I saw people in the comments of my Pokemon Challenges video saying, yeah, I've lost Pokemon to grinding levels before a gym, or I've seen people lose Pokemon to grinding levels. So you are skipping the challenge by using rare candies, and you are invalidating what a Nuzlocke is. That just because it's not written in these 2 simple rules doesn't mean like, oh, you can find a way to bend the rules around it. No, it's a difficulty mod. Anything that reduces that difficulty is no longer valid for the Nuzlocke, or it takes away from the challenge, which is why I call Pokemon Challenges a fraud, because he can't complete challenges and needs to cheat. I was looking for a different comment, but I found the original one that told me about the Nuzlocke motto. So the Nuzlocke motto itself is never give up, never forget, grind like hell. Not much of the third is happening anymore, which defeats the purpose of the whole challenge. So yeah, real Nuzlockers actually understand this, and the history goes well beyond any amount of time Pokemon challenges have been doing this. And that's also where we see more of the NPCs and the stupidity, where they say, oh, Pokemon challenges is an entertainer, so it's okay. No, just because you make YouTube videos or do live streams doesn't entitle you to breaking the rules. That's all these brats want in Pokemon. They want their entitlement to win over the rules, over doing what is right. And again, I feel like I'm the only person left that hasn't caved into that, because as an influencer, I make more content, I get to manipulate more children, it's more money, and that's what Pokemon Challenges is doing. But also, it further proves Pokemon Challenges is a fraud, because if he was actually a pro Nuzlocker, or the master of Pokemon Challenges, then he wouldn't need to cheat to beat it, even with like time restrictions or whatever, or he would grind it out. If a ROM hack is so difficult, it takes him months longer than anticipated, and he has to keep on streaming it. Even if his viewers fall out, it's about completing the challenge, not skipping it. But he can't complete challenges anymore because skill issue. I also need to feature this comment for being one of the best comments I've ever seen. Pokemon YouTubers use hacks to pump out constant videos of themselves beating challenges without grinding at all. RuneScape YouTubers grind for 3 months, 15 hours a day to make enough progress to post a single video. You watch Verf, you watch Swampletics, you see what Rindy is up to. It's like, yeah, man, this is like just a casual 300 hours of progress, and I'm sorry I haven't made a video in 3 months, but here you go. Rindy and Verf are the craziest ones for me because of how much work they put into their videos. Verf made 95,000 chocolate cakes just for an update in his Extreme One Chunk Iron Man. In Pokemon, you know they just hack their way through it. There is no accomplishing any kind of challenge or grind. Verf spent 2 years in his challenge to make a single step, to then spend 700 hours to do the next step. The man is incredible. And Rindy will put in over 1,000 hours of work into a single video with a more mind-numbing grind than whatever Pokemon Challenges is doing. Also, here's another idiot comment that I wanted to make sure was just kind of documented, because I saw dozens of comments that are just, how did Pokemon Challenges cheat? Even though Pokemon Challenges video is him admitting to cheating. But that's a good thing, because you gotta gaslight them children. Here's the comment I was looking for. 4chan's beef with Pokemon Challenges, because apparently they hate him for starting the Johto bad BS that has plagued the community for a while. Of course, it would be that fraud Pokemon Challenges that started the nonsense that I keep on seeing now, where, yeah, only Generation 5 is allowed to be good for all reasons. You can't bring up Pokemon Johto because of the level scaling or something, even though that was never, ever mentioned as a problem until Pokemon Challenges hit the scene. But the big one is, they hate him for not Nuzlocking Pokemon Clover. He's afraid of doing it because the game has a built-in anti-cheat, so hacking in rare candies is impossible. So Pokemon Challenges flees from any real challenge that prevents him from cheating. And then the last thing I want to mention was the Bulbapedia article on Nuzlockes, because we can see the internal fighting that has happened because of Pokemon Challenges. Near universally used rules. No cheating. Cheating devices may not be used. Hacking in rare candies is cheating. Again, Pokemon Challenges admits to it as cheating, and that is like the universal thing of a Nuzlocke, because the spirit of these rules kind of goes into a lot of this other stuff, or what came from the original Nuzlocke comic. Even though the rules are catch the first Pokemon and a Pokemon dies if it faints, we also have no resets. Player may not voluntarily reset and reload the game to undo progress. Being able to do so would render all other rules pointless, just how introducing hacked rare candies renders the entire challenge pointless. Now, there's also a note on optional rules with increased difficulty, but also decreased difficulty, and there it is. Rare candy clause. Hack in infinite rare candies to avoid tedious grinding, popularized by Pokemon Challenges. I don't know if a Pokemon Challenges fan came in to like rewrite history here, or again, this is like the Nuzlocking actual old school community that came in and is like, yeah, but this is decreased difficulty. Which again is so ironic. Decrease in difficulty, but it's a Pokemon challenge. You are not a pro Nuzlocker, you are a fraud. So there we go, guys. I will continue to be the only good influencer in Pokemon and hold up the actual history and not let these bad actors take it over for free. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.